So, for the next talk, in Saarland, the semester tickets for students got converted into online app tickets. So our speaker, the MB aka Q, made a tool to free those tickets from those company-driven apps. And what we'll learn from that, that's up to you. Have fun.
So, hello everyone. This is quite a well-attended talk. What a surprise. A talk about trains at Congress is well-attended. First of all, apologies. I've been here a week and I already lost my voice on day 0. So, if my voice is a bit harsh, my apologies. Who am I? During business hours, I'm a researcher at the Max Planck Institute for Informatics in Saarbrücken. During my alleged free time, I run a domain registrar called Glauca Digital, and I am a nerd about trains. Now, things I have to say to stop myself getting in trouble. The contents of this presentation are derived of my own personal work and neither been funded, endorsed, nor sanctioned by the Max Planck Gesellschaft zur Förderung der Wissenschaften e.V., the German government, the Verband Deutscher Verkehrsunternehmen e.V., the Union Internationale des Chemins de Fer, the European Union Agency for Railways, the Rail Delivery Group Limited, any of their respective members, or anyone else I may be about to annoy. That should cover it. So, I'm from Wales, which is in the UK, if you don't know, and I currently live in Germany. Very little of my experience outside of these two countries involves any train ticketing other than Interrail. So most of this talk will be focusing on German and a little bit of UK train ticketing. Let's start with the basics. What is a train? It's one of these. What do you need to get a train? A train ticket. You may recognize these. These are some vague international standard, and they all have the same rough layout. This one's an SBB ticket from Paris to Brussels. I'm not quite sure why SBB were selling a ticket for that, but this is one I found that was available for me to take. In recent years, everyone has been wanting to make things digital. So, yay, make things digital. This, of course, never goes particularly to plan. So this is how have people made digital train tickets and why are they all bad? There are various different types of train tickets because if everyone knows their XKCD, 14 standards means you will have 15 standards. There's UIC barcodes, of which there are at least 4 different types, possibly more that I haven't found documentation for. VDV-KA, which is most of what you'll find on German public transport, RSP in the UK, and several other custom formats that I do not have time to cover in this 45-minute talk. UIC barcodes are probably the easiest to start with, so let's start there. They're defined in the wonderful European Union Agency for Railways TAP TSI TDB.12, which is Digital Security Elements for Rail Passenger Ticketing. These are basically every ticket you will get that involves a border, because as soon as a border is involved, the EU is interested in making sure that it is all interoperable and that everything follows the interoperability standards. TSI in this context stands for Technical Standards for Interoperability. UIC barcode kind of looks like this. You can recognize them by a hash UT at the start. I don't know what T stands for. UIC ticket, I guess. And then there's a version number, a RIX, I'll get onto that. Key ID, because these have to be signed, so otherwise anyone can just make their own train tickets, although I will tell you how to make your own later. A DSA signature, yes, that is the very, very bad DSA signature algorithm. Some data and zlib deflate compressed data. So they at least tried to make an attempt to fit everything into a small barcode. DSA signatures. These can go wrong if they have made any mistake in selecting random numbers. So if you have any train tickets after this, please send them to me. I would like to collect their random numbers to see if we can recover someone's private key. It would be very funny. So what is a RIX? These are unique identifiers for train companies, the Railway Interchange Coding System. Basically, you know, you need to know who has issued a ticket for what, and instead of everyone, like, how many different subsidiaries does Deutsche Bahn have? At least 15. It's basically easy to just say, yeah, 1080 dB, and then everyone knows, okay, you're referring to that. You can get your own RIX. It's free of charge. Send an email. The details are on uic.org/RIX. Here is me. I'm 5101, just above the Verkehrsverbund Tirol. I don't know why I beat them to it. I don't know why they needed one after I needed one for a shitpost, but you can just apply for one. There's only like 9,999 of them available, so please don't all apply for one, but if you want one, you can. There are two different types of signatures available on a train ticket. These are DSA signatures. DSA 512, I haven't seen any instance of these, but if anyone does use a DSA 512 signature on their train ticket, I hope they don't mind their tickets being forged. There is some DSA 204A, but most of it's DSA 1024 and ASM1 encoding. It's fairly standard signature nonsense. Where do we get the public keys? Most of them are public on the excellent railpublickey.uic.org. A lot of them, however, are not. For some reason, train companies seem to think that disclosing their public keys is a security risk. I'm currently fighting with the Information Commissioner in the UK over this, so we'll see how that goes. If anyone has any non-public public keys, which is a ridiculous sentence, feel free to send them to me. I will add them to my tool. Inside your train ticket, then there is a header, which is just like a version. Well, each train ticket can contain multiple records. In this case, this is a header record, version 1, some data, and then data. So you can have the U underscore records are standardized, and they mean standardized things, but everything else is just like RICs and then 2 characters for custom extensions, like 1080VT is the Deutsche Bahn extension for city tickets. So if you want to encode custom data in your train ticket for, custom train things that aren't covered by an international standard, the standard lets you do that. Header record, again, has the repeat of the RICs. This is technically a different RICs. This is the RICs of the ticketing company, not the signing company, although they are almost always the same. Not always, but almost always. Ticket ID, which is like the number you see, the booking reference, when it was issued, some flags. Is it an international ticket? Has this ticket been edited by an agent? I still don't quite know what that means, but I think that means like you went to a ticket counter and someone like modified the ticket in some way because of delays. And is it a specimen? One note, all Dutch train tickets are marked as specimen and edited by agent. So every single Dutch train ticket is technically invalid. And then primary language and secondary language, I don't know what these are used for. Then there is the very interesting UTLA, which is just a series of rendering instructions. So if you remember the train ticket, the paper train ticket from earlier, this is a series of instructions to just recreate one of those. So this is the first kind of train ticket that was most widely used. There's this standard that's defined by the UIC, and despite the UIC being a French entity, the standard is canonically German. Of course. So this is a standard layout of a train ticket, and then the TLA record says, oh yeah, put this text at like XY105 and just write that line of text. And then what's shown to the conductor is effectively just a representation of what would be a paper ticket. So then it has a digital signature, and then you do the rest. This was fine, but it doesn't. The train companies would like ticket inspecting to go a bit quicker than looking at everyone's ticket manually on a tiny phone screen and checking that all the little fields are correct. So the next version of the standard had the UFlex record, which is flexible data using ASN1 unaligned packed encoding rules, which is a very often underloved encoding of ASN1. It's very, very, very compact, and I wish more people would use it. So thank you, UIC, for doing this. The ASN source code for this is on GitHub, amazingly. It wasn't on GitHub until fairly recently, but now it is. And there's some things in here. So like a ticket this is basically the same things you already had in the previous versions, but just machine readable. You have issuing detail, which is who the traveler is, what the document is, control data, blah, 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 blah. You can encode a lot of different types of ticket in this. So you can have a seat reservation, a car reservation, just a normal ticket, pass, which is only used for Interrail as far as I can tell, voucher for like if you have a discount code, customer data, these are barcodes, etc. Countermarks are for the sequence tickets in group tickets. You can have a car parking ticket encoded as a train ticket. FIP is the International Agreement on Free Travel of Railway Executives. So the railway executives have their own special ticket type that lets them take any train for free. Station passage is just for like getting through a gate. Extension and delay confirmation. I've never seen delay confirmation used, but apparently sometimes if your ICE is delayed, you will be issued with an Aztec that is a signed confirmation of that delay. So yes, the private use ones, the RICs plus 2 characters, store anything you want inside. There are some interesting ones. So the Deutschlandtarifverbund, which operate the Deutschland ticket, have a few things. So some train companies issue Deutschland tickets as UIC tickets, even though they're not international tickets, and that's used for that. Then there's the DBBL record, which is some old-style custom DB encoding before UFlex existed. Then there's VDV data for city tickets, there's CD tickets, and inexplicably ÖBB decided to stuff some JSON in there. Right, next type of ticket. This is the SSB, or the small signed barcode. These don't encode as much data and are like much more compact because they don't use text encoding. So they're a bit more difficult to work with. You have RICs, key ID, ticket type, etc., the usual stuff. We've seen this before. The inside of them is like number of passengers, origin, destination, which are just numbers. Every train station in Europe has a unique number which identifies it, so you can put those in there, and not much else. Like sometimes they have a reservation, but an SSB basically encodes nothing other than origin, destination. That's why they're called small. They use this wonderful 6-bit ASCII, which is just 6-bit integers, and it's offset from OX20, so space. It's fairly compact. This has been reused by a few other people. SSBs are most prominently used for NS keycards, and I believe this is the first reverse engineering of what goes into an NS keycard. If you don't know what an NS keycard is, it is the little codes they give you on little flimsy paper things to get through the ticket gates at NS stations, because NS ticket gates are dumb as hell and will not understand anything other than a Dutch train ticket. So if you say have a Deutschland ticket and you Deutschland ticket into the Netherlands, because it is valid somewhat across the border, then you might end up stuck inside a Dutch train station that won't let you out. So a key card is to open the gate to do that. There's some unknown data at the start, haven't got that out. Card ID, then issuing year, issuing day, some more unknown data, validity start, validity end, some extra like random text for comments. I've seen some interesting stuff in those comments. And a station ID, if it's only valid at one station or if it's valid at every station in the Netherlands. And then 79 bits of extra data at the end. This is probably just 0 padding because an SSB must always be a certain length. Eurostar, they have their own thing. They're called ELB barcodes. They're kind of boring. They are documented in TAP TSI, but they're very much like airline barcodes, and there's not much interesting to say about them other than they are not signed. So have fun with Eurostar, I guess. The next ticket type, VDV-KA. This is where the fun reverse engineering starts and where like most of the cursedness starts. So VDV is the Verband Deutsche Verkehrsunternehmen, the Association of German Transport Undertakings, and they have their own standard. This standard existed since before UIC standards existed, so it's kind of understandable they have their own. They make heavy use of BER TLV, so it's not ASN1, but it's still tag length value encoding in a similar fashion to ASN1, and are all based on ISO 9796-2 message recovery signatures. ISO want 194 euros for a copy of the standard. If you'd like a copy, I can give you a PDF. So when you scan a VDV ticket, which is what most of your Deutschland tickets will be, it contains these 4 tags usually, which is a signature remainder. I won't go into the detail on the difference between a signature and a signature remainder. That will be inside 9796-2, the signing certificate, and a CA reference. CA reference is somewhat like an X509 or authority key identifier. It tells you what certificate you need to verify this, so the certificate on the key on the ticket, and has name, which is normally just the company that it's issued to. Service indicator, algorithm reference, don't know what those are, and a year, which starts from 1990, which if any of you know your German history, is reunification year. Of course, they picked that one. Then the certificates themselves are either just like the certificate content or the signature or just a signed certificate. The certificate content is only used for the root, and then everything else is signed. There is a very fixed chain of trust that can't be changed. So the root CA is EU VDV 16.1/1996. Then there's a company CA, which is issued to each transport association. Then there's an envelope certificate, which is used for like a batch of about a month of tickets. And then there's the ticket itself. Interesting thing about the root CA, it expired in 2021, but this can't possibly be replaced. So the way ISO 9796 works is you need the public keys to be able to read anything because they are message recovery signatures. So it's not like you have the message and then a signature attached to it. The signature is the message. So to be able to get the message out of it, basically it's encrypted with the private key and then you decrypt with the public key. So you need the public key to be able to read it. And if you manage to read it correctly, then you know both what the message is and that the message was validly signed. This is very good for space. This is very space efficient, but it means we need the public keys to be able to read any of these tickets. Only the root CA is without a message recovery signature, so we need to find the entire chain. Where are they? Enter the Open LDAP server. If you just connect to this LDAP server and ask it for everything under VDV-KA, it will give you just a bunch of certificates. This LDAP server is operated by Deutsche Telekom. I asked them. This is apparently intentional that it's open, so I'm free to tell you that it's open. So for a VDV barcode, read the signature, decode the envelope, find a company cert, decrypt the company cert, decrypt the envelope cert, and then finally decrypt the ticket data. Then you just get a load of binary nonsense. Okay, well, what does this mean? Well, WP uploads to the rescue. Some transport associations are not very good about their web security and just let you download all the standards, even though they should be secret. But Googling with filetype :PDF, very useful. So a ticket starts with a header, some product data, which defines like what kind of ticket this is, some common transaction data, which is basically how this was sold, what price it was sold for, where it was sold, product transaction data, which is transaction data specific to the product. I have never seen this used. I don't know what it's used for. Some ticket issuing data, like which certificate was signed it and which security module signed it, and a little trailer. There's ticket ID, ticket org ID, product org ID. So the ticket ID is like the unique identifier of your ticket. The ticket org ID is who actually sold it to you. The product ID is like what product it is. This is almost always 9999 these days for a Deutschland ticket. But I guess there used to be far more types of tickets that people were buying before everyone has a Deutschland ticket. The difference between ticket org ID and a product org ID is that the product org ID is usually like the regional transport association, whereas the ticket org ID is your local transport company that sold you the tickets. Validity start, validity end. They use this weird custom date time thing, again, starting from 1990, month, day, hour, and then some unused bits, minute, second. I have no idea who came up with this, but this is an absolutely insane way to encode a timestamp. So where do we get this list of org IDs? Well, there's this other just open thing that has the very secure password, username password combination of eTicket App Pro and VDV kernel application. Where did I find this? Well, given we're in Hamburg, it's very neat that this was found in the HVV card info app. So HVV give you, there is an app, only on Android, unfortunately, that will tell you everything that's on your plastic smart card. So if all of this talk applies to printed barcode tickets, but if you have your Deutschland ticket or something else on a plastic smart card, the HVV card info app will read it and tell you what's on it. I don't know why they publish this, but thank you. And this API was just found in it. And then the product-specific data is some fairly standard stuff like basic data, not much in there. Passenger data, like who is this ticket issued to? Spatial validity, where is this ticket valid? Private use stuff. Somehow I've only seen private use used by Rhein-Main. Don't know what it's used. And identification medium to like tie a ticket to your identity in some way. Names are encoded weirdly, so they use ISO 8859-15, not the usual -1. This is the same as used in health insurance cards, German health insurance cards. You have type 1, which is forename # surname, very easy, and then type 2, which is the compressed redacted format, which is just for a single character, number of redactions, character @ then character, number of redactions, character. This does mean that my Deutschlandticket is issued to _M______L. So that really is doing a good job of tying it to my identity. Spatial validity. I do not understand what this table means. This table is in the standard. Maybe you can understand it, but as far as I can tell, this table is absolute nonsense. There are A to K different variations of spatial validity. Only some of these documented what they actually mean. And for each different variant, you can either encode the tariff points as 3-byte or 2-byte integers, little or big endian. I do not know what type I is being both little and big endian. Maybe they've invented middle endian. Who knows? Identification medium. These are the official ones from the standard. And yes, they really do insist that you call it that for the EC cards. But yeah, you can just have an entire credit card number stored inside your ticket to identify that this was issued to you. So hope you have that specific credit card with you if you get ticket inspected. Or your personal ID number, telephone number. I'm not quite sure how a ticket inspector is supposed to verify a telephone number. Call it and check that your mobile rings. A few other things. Then we have RSP barcodes. These are used on UK trains. They also use message recovery signatures, similar to VDV, but they have a custom kind. Much of this work was already done by a lovely person called Ita. I would recommend you go read her blog post. It covers a lot of the work here, and you will notice some similarities between VDV tickets and RSP tickets. I'm not quite sure which came first. SNCF, they have like 5 different types of tickets. They're all weird. I can only understand one of them. I don't have time to cover these. Right, so how would you like to look into your own tickets? So I have this wonderful app that will scan. You can upload a PNG or a PDF. It will tell you all the data that's inside your ticket. And as an added bonus, it will put it in your Apple or Google Wallet. You do not need to have an Apple device to use the Apple Wallet function. There are plenty of apps on F-Droid that can read PK pass files. It's just a very convenient pseudo standard for wallet passes. I will put this slide back up at the end if you would like to scan the QR code. Some other features, I reverse engineered Deutsche Bahn's APIs, and it will pull your tickets from Deutsche Bahn automatically. It will also pull your SaarVV Deutschland tickets automatically because SaarVV have not the best web security. The Deutsche Bahn cock-up was interesting. They have an OAuth redirect for the DB Navigator app, but is an OAuth redirect to dbnav://, which means I can just tell the operating system, oh, hi, I'm the protocol handler for dbnav now. And suddenly I am DB Navigator and can do OAuth. SaarVV, you literally just post username password to an endpoint in JSON and it gives you back an access token. How very retro. So, maybe you want to make your own train tickets. Step 1, get a RIX. Step 2, generate a DSA key. Step 3, step 3 of 4, maybe profit. Probably not. If you do this and you'd like your public keys to go in my tool so other people can look at your tickets, drop me an email. I'll put the tickets in. Right, and that's almost exactly 30 minutes. Thank you. Questions?
Thank you for your talk. So, questions in the room? Anywhere? Anywhere?
There's quite a few
down
over
here?
there.
Okay. You said you also run a DNS registrar.
Yes.
Can I get it if I have a domain? Can I get a train ticket for it?
Can you get a train ticket for your domain? Now, this is not a question I've thought of previously, but maybe I need to add this as a stupid feature.
Other questions or stupid features? There. Where is my microphone? Yeah.
Thank you. Have you considered trying to algebraically recover the public key from DSA signatures? I know it works with ECDSA, but I don't know if it works with DSA.
As far as I'm aware, this isn't really possible for DSA, and the problem is I would need to know what is inside the train ticket to be able to recover it. Like, you need the original message, but I don't have the original message because I don't have the public keys. Maybe.
The internet has a question.
Hi, thank you for this really interesting talk. And the internet has the question about the time format.
Yes.
Isn't the unused 2 bits between the hour and the minutes for the different time zones? Have you checked a cross-time zone travel ticket?
They may be for time zones. That's a scarily informed question from the internet. What do you know? I mean, I have not seen VDV tickets used outside Germany, so unless there is somewhere in Germany that is not Europe/Berlin, no.
Okay, there's another question.
Yes, you said you found some interesting comments in like the NS tickets to open the gates if
Yes.
your ticket's not like. What did you find?
I'm not sure which of these I can say because a lot of them are personal info. I don't like. This seems to be like someone typing a comment into the NS system for issuing key cards, and they don't realize that this comment actually goes into the ticket. So sometimes it's just like someone's email address or someone's phone number, like ticket 4 plus something, or like their ID number. So it's whatever random thing the ticket agent typed in and didn't realize would actually go into the ticket.
Hi. So have you actually considered the new version of the VDV-KA that's currently in development? Is there anything out there yet?
So, I think they call it MOTIS. There is some vague documentation out there. So, as far as I'm aware, this would be basically a VDV-KA ticket, but it's encoded with another envelope that then has a TOTP attached to the end. So, like, a screenshot is only valid for about 30 seconds. So, Google Play for like Google Wallet seems to have some documentation already for this. I haven't read it through in detail, but given the reverse engineering that happened last year on something very similar that Ticketmaster did with their event tickets, it should not be difficult to do the same for the new VDV-KA tickets.
Yes, there.
Have you looked into Trenitalia tickets?
Trenitalia, as far as I can tell, are UIC tickets. Okay. They may have some like custom format for within Italy, but I've not seen any of those yet. If
Do you need them?
Yes, please send them my way. I'm interested.
Okay.
Cool. Another question. Okay, the microphone. Where is it going to? There.
Hi. Have you looked into ÖBB Klimaticket, the Austrian
Yes.
Deutsche Bahn ticket?
So this is where I was mentioning that the signing and issuing RICs aren't always the same. So ÖBB Klimatickets are they're issued as, I think, customer cards as UIC flags. The issuer is the Federal Ministry for Finance, but the signer is ÖBB. So this was slightly fun for me to realize, oh, these numbers don't actually have to be the same. This does actually mean something, because this isn't really talked about in the standard, and it appears that... oh, my laptop just locked itself. It appears that ÖBB just decided to do it this way, and then everyone went, okay, I guess that's what we're using that for. But they are fairly standard train tickets. My thing has support for them. It should detect it as a Klima ticket.
So, this Signal Angel has another question.
The next question would be, have you had a chance to look at TCDD tickets?
TCDD? I have not heard of that acronym, so no.
Any questions in the room? Okay, then it's time for my question.
Oh, good.
So, what's the silliest ticket you have ever seen?
Right. So this is something I only found like last week when someone sent me a European sleeper ticket. European sleepers seem to issue these ticket barcodes for the sole purpose of opening ticket gates in the Netherlands. They make several mistakes in their ticket barcodes. So the most funny one is that they use the wrong numbers for train stations. I don't know what numbers they're using. I haven't figured it out. So it was a ticket from Brussels to Berlin. The station ID for Brussels just didn't exist, and the station ID they used for Berlin corresponded to a random regional station just north of Dusseldorf called Preußen. So now your sleeper ticket includes time travel.
Thanks. So, do we have another question? Okay. Signal Angel, please.
There's an addition to the TCDD ticket. It's apparently the Turkish Railways.
Oh, Christ. No, I've definitely not seen any of those. If anyone has some, I can send them my way. I may have something interesting to say on them.
Thank you.
Okay, since I've seen no questions here...
Oh, there's another one.
Another? Yeah, here. Okay.
Did any railway company has any problems with what you did so far?
Yes, if you go on whatdotheyknow.com, I have several open freedom of information requests with UK train companies over the standards for UK train tickets, because most UK train companies these days are publicly operated companies. Therefore, they are subject to freedom of information and should provide me with the standards for train tickets. They keep trying to argue that for the prevention of crime, they can't give me their public keys. This is the argument I'm currently having with the Information Commissioner. So, yes, people are mad at me for reverse engineering their tickets, apparently.
So we have another question over there.
Yeah, I'm not 100% if I got all your talk because my brain is fucked. But I wanted to know if it's possible with this information and your tool maybe to convert basically the tickets you get out of the paper tickets without QR code to a ticket with QR code.
No, because those don't have a signature. You could sign them yourself, but they wouldn't be trusted by anyone because they need a signature from a railway company on them.
Here in the front.
Did you ever try to sign a ticket where you have the data yourself and show it and tried what happens?
I have not, but I know that there are... OBB sometimes misissue their tickets with a slightly invalid signature, and I know from a friend, the ticket inspectors in Slovenia are so used to it that when they see a big red cross on their machine, they just go, oh, that's normal.
So, over there...
Oh, Christ, you have a lot of questions.
Okay. There...
Any chance to convert the Deutschlandticket in the plastic card into a mobile?
Unfortunately,
to avoid carry it around.
Unfortunately, I have not. That's not possible. So the Deutschlandticket plastic card actually uses challenge response. So the ticket inspecting device has to have a security module in it and has to identify itself as a VDV authorized ticket inspection device. Then the card will let you ticket inspect it. It will also log which machine ticket inspected it. So there's an Android app, I think, called e-ticket info that will read your plastic card, and it will tell you the entire history of which transport companies have ticket inspected you and when.
Okay, we have plenty of time. Questions? Signal Angel? No. Okay. Over there. So, just in the second when I will close this talk, there's another question.
You said that the NS machines, gate machines, are incredibly stupid. Can you elaborate on this stupidness?
They only understand Dutch train tickets and nothing else, even though you can buy like many different countries' train tickets for a train into the Netherlands. They just don't understand it unless it's a Dutch train ticket.
Questions?
One there and one there.
Thanks for the great talk. I understand you need the public key to check if the ticket is valid.
Yes.
And might there be a random small train operator who didn't publish their public keys, or when the guy who checks the tickets doesn't have the public key, that this happens, that the red cross appears and
Yes.
said, yeah, okay, just
Yeah,
go on it.
but I believe that does happen. I don't have like proof or even hearsay that this happens, but that probably happens.
Yes, there in the back.
Hi, yes. Sorry for the second question, but when I got to Germany, I bought like a DB ticket on like the Deutsche Bahn, and
Yes.
that opened the Dutch gate just fine. Like, why?
It may be that the NS have worked on it since, but at least I think you were lucky that it managed to open the gate, because it's fairly often that it just doesn't.
Okay.
So I'm looking for questions. I will close the talk if you don't ask some questions. Okay. There. Yeah. Like I said, it's always the same.
Sorry for being slow. If we have old tickets, are they still interesting for you? And if we only have a picture of an old ticket, is that interesting as long as it's complete?
Yeah, as long as the barcode's there, that's fine. Like, they don't become magically invalid once they're not useful.
Okay.
Like,
And on one of the previous slides, you had your email address. Is that your preferred inbox for receiving?
Yes, that one.
Okay.
That email, please.
Okay, perfect. That's it.
You said the Eurostar tickets are not signed, so you
Yes.
can just put any data into it?
You can just make your own Eurostar tickets. I believe Eurostar do check the tickets against the back-end database, so I believe they're safe. But theoretically, you can just issue yourself a Eurostar ticket.
There?
We might be here a while.
Does a barcode work the same way as a ticket?
Yes. So if I go back to this one. So the open ticket is what a train ticket is, and the customer card is what a barcode is.
So, there
I'll
was
put
a
this up in
hint.
case anyone wants the QR code.
So, maybe a round of applause for our angel with the microphone.
So you mentioned the cross-border tickets.
Yes.
Are those able to be used inside of one country?
Yeah, so most countries just use the international cross-border standard within their own country, because why have two standards?
Okay.
Oh.
Signal Angel, please.
There's a question from a user that wants to know why they never can exit an e-gate with an Interrail ticket.
Oh, God. Is this someone in the UK? In which case, that's because the UK went and decided, fuck you, European Union, we're not following your standards.
Okay.
Are you familiar with the Fairtick Swiss-based app that issues passes that look like tickets?
I am not. Please tell me more afterwards.
So there are so many UIC codes.
Yes.
How do those operators decide which are trusted for their checks?
I genuinely don't know. I think So to get your public key in railpublickeys.uic.org, you have to be a member of the UIC, which also then means you're a member of the ticket settlement plan. I guess if they just get other random public keys added, they might work. I don't know. I haven't managed to figure out this. I don't know who to ask.
So, okay, I'm closing in 5, 4, pi, 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you. Big round of applause.